Easy now. Papa got beats, make it hit
come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. I'ma have to cut you off, like right now. You see, I don't want to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they ain't finished change. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip.
Welcome to the Seahawks Man to Man podcast, powered by The Athletic. Shout out to the company. My name is Michael-Shawn and I'm here with my co-host, Christopher Kidd. Make sure you follow us both up on the tweet machine. You guys know where to follow me, Mikedugar. Also, shout out to all of our listeners, our subscribers on YouTube. Seahawks Man, the number 2 man on YouTube. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate you. We're coming back this week. We got you guys. We're going to make it happen with our YouTube exclusive. I got you. Chris, talk to him.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Kidd. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at CKIDD206 and that's CKid206. And also, shout out to some of the Chargers fans that decided to subscribe to our podcast. We got a couple of messages on Twitter saying, oh, we enjoyed the show. So we hope you are sticking around for this one, even though the Chargers lost. But thanks again for definitely subscribing to the channel. We appreciate all the love and support that we're getting.
Yeah, shout out to Daniel Popper, man. He was a great guest, man. He knows his stuff. So that was a great episode, man. That was one of my favorite guest previews that we had. But this is our post game, and we were all wrong. We, meaning me, you, and Daniel, we all picked the Chargers. And I know why I picked the Chargers, but like I felt a little different when I woke up Sunday. I was just like, man, the Chargers cannot run the ball on these guys, and if they can't run the ball on these guys, Herbert's going to die back there, man. He's playing with bad ribs and yada, yada, yada. So Seahawks get the big win, 37-23. Chris, that's back-to-back double-digit wins for this team. A big road win against a good team. And the Chargers, they had Keenan Allen back. They had Eckler. They had Mike Will. You know, they're missing a few dudes. But that's a good Chargers team, man, at home. And the Seahawks really just beat the hell out of them on the on their home field. And like as soon as this was a real, they felt this one, man. Like as soon as the locker room opens, Daryl Taylor's in there, like what I can't remember the song, but the song is like the hook of it is like walk in your trap and take over your trap. I can't remember what song that is off the top of my head, but it is blasting. And they felt like, yo, we came in here and beat them up. And as much as these guys, and I wrote about this after the game, as much as these guys want to tell us, man, we don't care about the outside noise. You know, even Pete Carroll was like, man, I'm not telling our guys about what the expectations are outside the building. We want to care about inside the building. No. That shit matters to them. That matters to them. You know, Daryl Taylor after the game, he told me, I was like, the Seahawks aren't to be messed with, huh? He was like, nah, man, we are a team. We've been a team not to be messed with. You know, so we just had to figure it out. Like, we knew we was like this. It just had to come together. You know, Ryan Neal said after the game, he was like, let's be honest. Nobody thought we were going to be shit. And here we are showing people that, you know, like you guys were wrong. And there's something to that like chip on your shoulder type of mindset, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, at least in the moment. They care. They care that people think that they weren't going to be good, that they were going to be a 5-win team, a 6-win team, or whatever. What they're 4-3 now in first place. That's pretty crazy, Chris. Like through 7 weeks, they're alone in first place. Now the Rams didn't play this week, but who's the best team in the NFC West? You know, is it the Seahawks at this point? The Niners? I didn't watch their game. Apparently, Mahomes went video game on them, but like. Because it really might be, if this is not a fluke, the run game, the defense, Geno, who threw some interceptable balls today for the first time. But if this is not a fluke, well, Daryl Taylor might be right. These guys might not be a team to be messed with because they can get it done on both sides of the ball, and like they're serious. Like the Seahawks are serious.
The one thing I hinted on last week after the Seahawks game was consistency. I need to see consistency. And that's 2 straight weeks now where they've got it out the mud. Last week, more so on the defense. Offensively, things weren't hitting on all cylinders. But Sunday against the Chargers, it was both sides of the football. Yes, they started off rocky with an interception. Could have been a pass interference. You can argue that either way, ball got tipped. But you know what the defense did? The defense didn't break. They knew they're in a tough position. Ultimately, probably going to give up 3. Instead, they forced a turnover on downs. And you know what the Seahawks do? They actually respond. They go down and they score a touchdown. Those are things that say, okay, that's a little adversity there. You're pinned defensively, and you're in my head. I was thinking, okay, they're probably gonna give up 3 at worst. And what does the defense do? They hunker down. Al Woods, who's been playing great all season, does what Al Woods does, stuffs the run, forces a turnover on downs, and I think that was that ignited the team right there. And they figured, yeah, we could definitely beat this team without question. I don't care if it's Mike Williams over there, Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett, whatever the case may be, we got our team and we can do this. And Geno Smith was front and center and leading that charge to beat this team. And I thought, again, both sides of the football looked really good. Of course, there are a couple of mentor errors here and there, but overall, I liked what I saw from the Seahawks from an overall standpoint. I thought Darrell Taylor, you mentioned it maybe week 2 of the season. You were saying he's probably going to turn around. I don't see him struggling the whole season. And here we are, back-to-back games where he's getting strip sacks. That's what you want to see. Hopefully we can get him destroying a quarterback and taking him to the ground, but overall, get another strip sack, picking it up, ran it back for a few yards. That's the Darrell Taylor everyone was hoping to see week 1. It took a little time, but here we are now in week 7, and the defense has figured it out. The offense is still playing really good, or I would just say good. Kenneth Walker seems like he is a stud. He clocked 22 miles per hour, according to Next Gen, on that run for 74 yards for a touchdown. O-line, I didn't hear Khalil Mack doing much today. I wonder why that is. Abe Lucas and Charles Cross are some dogs, man. The Seahawks, A+ on drafting those 2 dudes. And I'm looking at the schedule. The only player that I'm thinking might give him some issues is Aaron Donald, and he gives everybody issues. But outside of that, I'm really thinking these 2 dudes they're a problem. And I wanted to look earlier. I forgot to do it. I wanted to find some audio, see if Khalil Mack or any of those defensive ends had anything to say about going up against those rookies, because they played a hell of a game on Sunday. And again, overall, I just enjoyed watching that game. It was fun. Defense was lighting it up. Turnovers. Tariq Woolen had made a couple of plays, diving over players, not batting passes down. Ryan Neal with the interception. You just felt it. And you said when you were down there, you were thinking about, man, I feel some energy here. And you were right. We were all wrong. The Seahawks come out here and I almost said San Diego and California and get a huge win over, as you mentioned, a pretty good football team. And they just made it tough on them.
Yeah, I think a few things really stood out. I think the first is that the reason I woke up on Sunday and was like, man, I don't think the Chargers can run the ball on these guys. And I really think that was important. What did the running backs have today? I want to say the running backs for the Chargers had like 30 yards, something disgustingly bad.
Threw
I
up a
think
whole
Ken
game, 53 yards total.
Hold on, let me just only look at running backs though. So I think the running backs only had 31 yards. I'm pretty sure.
Outside of the scrambles
take
from
out
Herbert.
Herbert ran for 22. So yeah. So I was like, if that holds, then okay, then it's just pass rush time. I was like, all right, they got a backup left tackle, and then Herbert's got bad ribs. I was like, man, if they could stop the run, there's something here. Like I just kind of woke up thinking about that, and then it just came to life. And then I was asking I asked Greg Bell at Tacoma paper, like I mentioned on the show before, we sit next to each other on road games. Assigned seats is what it is. But I always ask him before the game, I was like, who you got today? And he was like, I got the Chargers. And he was like, I don't think they'll be able to stop these guys. And I was like, they will if they get turnovers. And then what do you know? You start off with, you get the pick, the strip sack, the turnover on downs, which is in effect a turnover. I think they had 2 of those. Yeah. The way they're getting those on defense is really important because it's not fluky. They're getting off the ball better up front. And because they're doing that, they're getting into these third and longs, and the dime package that we saw from last season that turned around their third down defense is back. The dime package has the 6 defensive backs. You basically pull Cody Barton off the field. You pull your nose tackles off the field. You bring in Josh Jones. You let Ryan Neal basically be whatever the hell Ryan Neal wants to be, linebacker, safety, pass rusher. He can do it all. You let him be whatever. You put your 4 best linemen on the field for rushing purposes. So that's usually DT, Daryl Taylor, Shelby Harris, Quentin Jefferson, and then Uchenna Nwosu. And then you can just do anything. They've played cover 3 on those snaps. They've played cover 1 on those snaps. They've played I don't think they've done any cover 0 on those snaps, but they've played cover 6 on those snaps. They've just done a little bit of everything. And because they've done everything, it's hard to game plan for. And you can see like the Chargers had very few answers for some of their third down stuff. What were the Chargers today on third down?
5 for 15.
5 of 15. There you go. There it is right there. Like I thought because of what they were able to do on early downs, which I woke up like, man, the Chargers don't run the ball that well. Like Eckler is great, but he just doesn't like run it super well. I was like, Eckler's great, doesn't run it well. These guys can stop it. And the change that they made against Arizona, I think Quentin Jefferson talked about it last week, and he explained it a little bit more to me after the game today, is instead of doing that, like traditional 3-4 stuff is like the D linemen stand up their linemen, their offensive linemen at the line of scrimmage, and then they kind of move them and read, all right, which gap, boom, boom, boom. You're kind of you're playing a gap and then a gap and a half too. So you don't just have like the B or the A or whatever, right? So now what they're kind of doing is you'll see the nose tackle do that a little bit, actually a lot of it, but then you'll see the other guys like, I don't know, I got this, I see this, I can shoot this, I can beat this guy, I can shed this block right off, I can be aggressive, I can go at the point of attack instead of waiting, reading, and reacting. And they did it versus Arizona. Then Arizona has some backup linemen in there on an offensive line that already ain't great. So you never really know, when you see just one example of it. Then they did it again. There's some backup linemen for the Chargers as well. But like when you just see guys coming off the ball with good technique, good power, getting in the backfield, like that is sustainable. I don't think they'll just kick every O-line's ass every week. They're going to be better O-lines that they play. Hell, next week, Giants are probably a better offensive line than they face in some of these other weeks. But that part in particular, just being able to get off the ball. I take it back to our show with Ted Wynn, 2 weeks ago. He was like, they're just getting their ass kicked up front. Once you're doing that, ain't no defense you can run. 3-4, 4-3, you can make up a cover or a scheme. It don't really matter. They've changed that. They've let their guys get more aggressive up front. Shelby, Q, Puna. Like Puna's a new dude now. He's making plays every game now.
Passes down. He's everywhere.
Yeah. Run stops, him and Miles. Boye is really strong against the run, man. Like Bruce Irvin had a run stop in there today. I think like there were so many, like it's everybody. It's just like they have 9 sacks in 2 weeks. They had like 8 through the
4
first
coming
5
in.
games.
It was ugly.
They had like 7 or 8 on the year through the first 5 games, something like that. And now they have like 9 in the past 2 weeks. Like that's, come on. They're not going to get that many sacks every week, but you just look at how they're getting that because there were so many third and longs today, bro. They was 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 14, 3rd and whatever. There was so many of those because they were kicking their ass on the early downs. And if you do that, that's the change. Because if you get run on, you can't stop nobody.
Yeah, it opens up everything else.
Yeah, and then so there's that scheme change, and then you can kind of just tell. I was talking to Jordan Brooks about this today. He was like, and he mentioned it last week too. He was like, yeah, it's some scheme change stuff, but part of it is we just had to look ourselves in the mirror after week 5, man. And I think Ryan Neal talked about it on the podium too. It's like we are giving up too many points. We're not going to win no games. Like this is unacceptable. They looked at each other and said, look, man, what happened in week 4 and 5 and shit, that's unacceptable. We can't play like that anymore. Everybody needs to just be accountable. Let's call each other out. Let's do whatever we got to do. So like, and that's important, like Jordan, I didn't run this quote, but Jordan was like, you get hit in the mouth enough, you're eventually going to hit back, and now they're hitting back. So on D, that was been really encouraging. And I think there's some sustainability to that. We were talking earlier before we press record. Chris, they're forcing punts. How many times is it? Let me look at. I got it in front of me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At one point, the Chargers punted 5 times in a row.
That's how
Like,
you win games, baby.
turnovers are fantastic, and they scored 17 points off turnovers in essence, to start the game, which is fantastic, particularly if you lose DK, who we don't know how long he'll be out. But turnovers, the way the ball bounces, a throw here, a catch there, a drop here, turnovers are really fluky. Like Geno's turnover today, fluky. Geno's worst 2 passes weren't the one that got picked. You know what I mean? Like he had 2 hit Chargers guys in the hands. And then the one that gets popped in the air is the one that gets picked, right? That kind of shows you how fluky turnovers can be. Forcing punts, though, that's sustainable. That means you are doing good things. You're not just getting lucky, quote unquote. So I think that there's sustainability to the defense. On offense, Chris, have they ever had 2 games in a row where they've won without DK or Tyler being their leading receiver?
I'd have to go back and look, but
Okay.
it don't happen often, if at all.
Yeah, that's really impressive and important. I think again, we don't know how long DK will be out. Right? I haven't looked at a replay yet of how bad the fall was. Was it bad?
It looked as a regular play. Going for
Okay.
a catch, comes down. I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary until we saw him on the cart. And I thought he had to use the restroom again. And then the report came out that no, he has a knee injury. He's done for the game. It all looked normal. I didn't see anything bulging or he didn't get up. I didn't see him hobble. I don't know if you saw that from your view, but
Mm-mm.
it didn't appear that anything was wrong. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully it's not serious, and maybe he's just out for a week. But we'll know more as the week as we get into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the reports come out. I'm sure we'll have something probably tomorrow on Monday. That is, but it didn't look out of the ordinary. Like, damn, something's wrong with DK. So it's unfortunate. We'll see what happens.
So after the Arizona game where they combined for, I think it was 4 catches for like 51 yards or
54
something like
yards.
that.
Okay.
It was like 51 or something like that. I looked it up. I was like, man, have they ever been held that low before? And they have. I think it was against the Packers last year, and then I think in 2019 as well that DK and Tyler combined for like less than 4 catches and 51 yards, and they lost both of those games. And I was like, man, the fact that they were able to win against the Cardinals like that, that's really good. And then they did it again. Obviously, DK getting hurt factors into that. But what did Tyler have today?
He had 7 catches for 45 yards.
45, and that's some big catches, some big third down ones in there. But that's not a super impactful day. Like I think their leading wide receiver last
Was
week was
Marquise?
D.
Oh, yeah.
Last week was D with 39 yards. And then today it was Marquise with only like 67. It's not like Marquise broke a world record today, but they're able to move the ball still and have a high scoring, efficient, effective offense. Chris, this is one of the best offenses in football. Like
People don't even realize that. We don't even realize that sometimes. We just get caught up in the moment about the defense and offensively. Marquise Goodwin is catching fade balls. Like let's back up. Marquise Goodwin is Mike's height and runs a 4.3 and can jump out the gym. He
yeah, and
ain't DK's height.
the Seahawks are. Let me refresh this page. I'm pretty sure the Seahawks are the 4th best scoring offense in the league. They are 5th at 26 points a game, and EPA per play, they are 4th behind the Chiefs, Bills, and the Raiders. Like this is one of the best offenses. Geno's playing like one of the best quarterbacks. Ken is not suddenly, one of the best running backs in the league now. Like he's just this is why they drafted him. He's a home run guy. He can score from anywhere.
We all saw
Anywhere.
that.
Anywhere. I was told that after the draft. Like it was like Chris Carson is excellent. Like we love Chris to death. He is Seahawk football. That's how we like to run the ball. These other 2 guys we have, Rashad and Ken. This is what I was told at the time. They can score from anywhere. We can have 1st and 10 from the 25, and we might score on just a toss or a inside handoff or outside zone. And that's legit. We've seen it. Rashad's had big ones. Ken has a big one every week, it seems like. Like, this is legitimately impressive how they're able – it's a pick-your-poison offense. I was talking with a player in the locker room after the game today. We were talking about the Chiefs' offense and why they're so scary. And part of why the Chiefs are so scary is you don't know who's about to kill you. Juju could kill you one week, and then next week it could be some other dude, and then the next week it could be Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and the next week it could be Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And you know what did Travis Kelce have 4 touchdowns or something like a couple weeks ago? And then what McCole Hardman ran for 2 touchdowns today or something like that. Like if you try to scheme one dude away, they'll find a way to get you with another guy, and that's what the Seahawks. I don't think they're at that level,
but they're
but
doing it.
yeah, it's the potential is there, and I didn't think that. But that, Chris, of all the things that was kind of surprising me, that I didn't think this would be an offense that would be able to survive if DK got hurt or if those guys didn't have it on a particular day. Nah, man, like Marquise is winning some matchups. He also has some big catches last week. Gino just loves throwing to his tight ends, so like there was I tweeted this too. Like when DK got hurt, you could see the Seahawks leaning more on 12 personnel, which is 2 tight ends,
Yep.
and then 13 personnel, which is 3 tight ends.
3 tight ends, yeah.
And the beauty of that is you can still run it, but Gino throws to those guys so well, and they all can get open. Noah should have caught that one on the that ended up getting called back for a roughing, I think. But like they all can get open and catch the ball, and Gino's so good throwing there, like it really doesn't matter. Anybody could lead the Seahawks in receiving any given week, and that is when you are a dangerous team. Like the Bills, Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis is gonna kill. That's just kind of what it is. But with the Seahawks, you're like, shit, man. Colby Parkinson could lead the team today, and that the Seahawks could still drop a 30 ball. That's really impressive, and it's not by accident. I don't think they've schemed it up that way where they know when DK is going to be bracketed, when the safety is going to roll to Tyler or whatever, which is what happened to Marquise's second touchdown. They just kind of know when that's coming and went, come on, man. If you got to pick your poison offense, that is when you are dangerous, not necessarily when you can only survive if 2 dudes go off,
Yeah, it was. And the thing about the tight ends, these tight ends are huge. Parkinson's at 6'7". So when you're a linebacker or a corner, it's already advantage Seahawks, especially if they do a rollout play action where Gino's on the move and he's able to just put it on the numbers for these guys or throw it up and high point it, and these receivers can come down with it. For example, the touchdown that Kobe dropped earlier this year over the middle, he's probably making that catch now. Gino throws him or preseason, excuse me. What was the preseason? Was it Drew Lock that threw it? Someone threw him a beautiful pass over the middle. No, it might have been against the Cowboys. It was a preseason game, if I'm not mistaken. He threw a dart over the middle. Kobe should have caught it. Regardless, you've seen the growth and how this offense is now prioritizing the tight ends, as you mentioned. Personnel. They're just taking what the defense is giving. You want to come out with linebackers on our tight ends? Cool. We're going to play action, pass it, roll these guys out, and we're going to find them. Will Dissly is continuing to do what he does. He's catching everything, making plays, moving the sticks. They're making impact plays, and that's what you want to see. And speaking of wide receiver-wise, you've always wanted someone that could be their third wide receiver, and it looks like Marquise Goodwin is that guy. Hell, he was the number 1 guy on Sunday against the Chargers, going up against a pretty good defense, and he was making it look very casual, as if he's done this before. He's healthy. You saw the speed. I think it was a screen to him. They ran a screen, Mike, and it worked out.
No, it didn't. They got called for
Oh, it did. That's right.
They got called for OPI. It got on D.
That's right. So cheesy.
Yeah. No, it's just.
Hey, you know what? It looked great until that point, but they are using everyone. That's the best part. They're not relying on Ty Lockett and DK. Now, if they're playing well, I don't have a problem with them having a game where they go for 100 yards each. But on Sunday against the Chargers, it was spread out well evenly. And a player that no one probably expected to have the game that he did this season, and Marquise Goodwin, Goodwin, he steps up and does it. And that was great to see. And I didn't know they had a connection like that. Sure, in practice during training camp, or maybe even practice, Mike, you probably are seeing things and like, okay, maybe there's something there. But in training camp, I saw them throwing deep passes. I wasn't thinking, you know what? During the season, that's going to be vital. Marquise is going to take the top off of defenses with that. He's going to catch some touchdowns. He did it on Sunday, and it looked routine, as if they've been waiting to use it, and they did, and it worked out in their favor. And that's only going to build confidence for Gino, who you can't tell Gino he's not a top 5 quarterback right now, without a question. You look at what Ken Walker's doing. You can't tell him he's not a top 10 running back in this league right now through a couple of weeks that he's played. Everyone on this team is humming, and they believe that no one can stop them. And who's to say that someone can? They played a pretty good defense today, and they did whatever they wanted to. If they wanted to do a toss outside, positive yards. If they want to run right up the middle, positive yards. The second half, that first drive was great. They took 11 minutes off the clock, and they just ran the football. They just said, we're going to hand the ball off, and you're not going to be able to stop us no matter what you do. They brought in their fat men, didn't matter. They brought down the safety, Derwin James, didn't matter. Because you know what? We're doing play action. Every time they tried to counter, the Seahawks were like, yeah, we'll one-up you here. And they just did it and did it. Now, of course, it didn't result in 7, but they chewed the hell out of that clock. Left only, I think, 1 minute or 3 minutes left in the quarter, and they put up 3. I love that drive. I know a lot of people are probably thinking, nah, Chris, I want 6. You know what? Let's see if they can improve on that the next game. Have another drive like that where they get a touchdown instead. But to see that on Sunday against the Chargers, for them to come out in the second half, their first possession, do whatever they want down the field and get points, I thought that was really, really impressive. And I thought that also sent another message like, yeah, we're doing what we want to do. Stop us. Oh, you can't? Cool.
Yeah, on Twitter, I like to use you'll see me tweet like the term big boy, like big boy drive or a big boy play. Like usually I say big boy drive because you can kind of feel when drives are big. I don't believe momentum is a thing like from week to week, but I do believe like in the moment, momentum is very real. And they've had a few really big momentum offensive drives that have been really encouraging. That should be sustainable with how good the offense has been. Like, so last week it was after the block punt touchdown. I think the offense comes right back down and scores a touchdown. I'm pretty sure. This week it was, I think they scored right after the safety. I want to say, no, they got a 3 and out, excuse me, after the safety, which was a big one on defense. Today it's the drive you're talking about. It's like, all right, man, let's give our defense a break. And they do, and chew all that clock. Like you can feel when those are supposed to happen. And the guys say it after the games. It's like, yeah, no, we can read the game. It's like reading a room. Like, oh, we could sure use a long ass drive right now. Or even their drive at the end of the first half. Like they got the ball about 4 minutes left, and you can kind of feel they were like, we need to sustain this drive. Now they ended up scoring on the Marquise touchdown where J.C. Jackson hurts his knee. But those are important too because you're not going to score on every drive. You're not going to have a home run every drive. But sometimes you will just be like, all right, our defense isn't having it today, or the other team just got a big play. We need to either have the ball for a long time or get a big play back. You can feel those. And the good teams recognize that and go execute. So there's just been there's sustainability in some of the things that are happening. They're recognizing like that 13 personnel package. I can't really stress enough about that because earlier in the year they had certain tendencies. When they were in the 13 personnel, they were usually just putting D on the field and then running it, or putting D on the field and then play action rollouts. Now they can go 13 and then start under center, be really tight. Geno can audible. Now there's empty. They're empty 13 personnel. That's crazy. That's 3 tight ends running routes, with none of them in as pass protection. And then if they need to, all 3 tight ends can block. You look at the touchdown by Ken, the 74-yarder. Will clears out the edge. Colby kind of, gives him a lead, little bit down the runway, and he gone. Like that's crazy, So if DK does have to miss a lot of time, that's a big deal. I mean, I not act like DK don't matter. DK does matter a lot, but they don't think they're as screwed as I imagined, pretty much, and that's encouraging, man, because when you can run the ball like that and you can do a lot of things out of like only a few personnel groupings, that's also very important. And if you got guys who can win some one-on-one matchups, whether it's Colby, whether it's Noah, whether it's Will, whether it's Marquise or even D, yeah, man, this offense is for real. All the defense had to do was get their shit together. For real. I think Darrell Taylor said it after the game. He was like, we owed it to the offense. They did.
Yeah.
They were being unfair to the offense. They were making the offense have to score 30 every week just to be competitive, and that's unfair to them. They should be able to only get like 23 and win. Today, how many points did the Chargers offense score today?
What is
21?
it?
Yeah.
Outside of the safety, yeah.
Yeah, 21. that should be able to do it at least every once in a while, every other week. You should be able to like, all right, we only got 23 today. Is that cool? Yep, bet, because we ain't gonna allow more than 23. So I think that's the defense is holding up its end of the bargain, man. And if that's very very encouraging, man. They are a team that's not to be messed with. At least not by none of the teams on their schedule.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be scared of nobody on the schedule right now but the Chiefs.
As I told you off wax, I think I'm done picking against these boys. They're just gonna have to lose, and I'll just take it. You know what? I picked the game for them to lose, for them to win. They lost it. It is what it is. I'm moving to the next week because man, I am struggling with these game picks. But
yeah, I'm not looking too hot as an expert picker. I don't even want to talk about my record. Yeah, let's move on to the next topic.
But of course, our next topic is always a household and fan favorite, and that is Twitter questions, because I think it's important that we get to hear from listeners of Seahawks Man to Man, get to hear what they want to know. And it's just also a good time to vibe with us. So we're going to go ahead and get that rolling here, Mike. We got quite a few. So let's see. Where do we start? What is something the Seahawks can do to keep this momentum going, and how far can it take them? This is from Keezy187.
I think that the main thing is to continue to convert on third downs with whoever. That's the big part, I think, is you can't, like, Tyler had some really big third down catches today, but it can't just be Tyler. Like, sometimes third down play will have to be from Marquise, like or D or Colby. Like, I think the first touchdown today to Marquise was for Marquise. Yeah, it looks like, I don't even know if Gino even looked over there. Like, have to have plays like that. On defense, you have to continue to stop the run, because I do think that the dime package is offering so much versatility, man. It's not always going to work, but it just allows them to do so much. They can disguise, they can play cover 1, they can play cover 2, they can play cover 3, cover 4, which they don't do a ton, but cover 6, cover 8, cover 9, which they did, I think, today. So those two things, man, third downs are just so big, because those are momentums. Like, it's deflating when the other team, when you give up a third down on defense, and it's deflating, or it's like deflating to the offense when they have to walk off the field and see the punt team run on, So I think that's how you have to sustain it, and on third down, it got to be someone different making that play on defense too. Mike Jackson might be the guy, or it could be Quandre, or it could be Puna batting the ball down, or Daryl getting the sack, or whatever the hell is it. I think there's so many guys that can make plays in that personnel package, because there's so much speed on the field, man. I think the third downs, that has to be it. If you're a good third down offense and a good third down defense, you'll be a great team.
Our next one is from,
doesn't fuck it up.
My bad. This next one is from Michael McNewhouse. Do you guys think Ryan Neal can be the strong safety of the future?
I don't know about that. I still think you roll with Jamal. One, because you invested all that money, but two, when healthy, Jamal's a good football player. Ryan is basically proven to be like the Jason Terry, or like Jamal Crawford, the J.R. Smith of their Seahawks team, and that he's like the sixth man. Like when he comes in, when somebody go down, he can come in and basically be a starter, on a team that's really good. So I know Ryan would like to start. He loves playing ball. But I think when you invest that much in Jamal, and he is a good player when he is healthy, I think you have to still account for him being, that guy. The tricky part is convincing Ryan to stay in the offseason. If he keeps balling, eventually another team's going to be like, we could use a safety, and pay him starting money and give him, and make him a starter. That's the scenario you kind of got to worry about. But I think that you still got to roll with Jamal in the future. We can worry about that later, though. Right now, shout out to Ryan, man. Like, he, again, in that dime package, he could be anything. He could be a safety. He could be the deep safety, which he does sometimes. He can be a linebacker, like he did on that pick. He was basically a weak side linebacker. And then he can blitz, like he showed last week, too. So I think right now, we just got to appreciate what Ryan's bringing. But long term, I think it's still got to be Jamal. Just for no other reason, the investment. You can't have that much money on the pine. You just can't do that. And you can still use Ryan in the dime package even with Jamal. So like it's not like it's a totally an either or thing.
This one is from Nathan Thomas at Nathan Thomas 02. How would you evaluate Cody Barton?
Okay. I, I have to watch it again. I think Cody was fine. I think that he was good in coverage, and in the run game when he was out there. You saw them kind of experiment with the peso package again. They ran a little bit of that. They went away from it. They gave up some explosives in it. That was an issue. One of them was Boye Mafe lined up against Eckler out in the flat. That's one of the flaws of that package because a pass catching running back can kill you. But I'll say this for Cody today: the touchdown is not his fault. The touchdown, I'm talking about, Chris. The
To be honest, bro, I didn't even care because there was no time. Like the Seahawks were just like, bro, I know I'm
talking about the Mike Williams touchdown, not the one in the flat.
Oh, the Mike Williams on the drag where Tariq's chasing that one.
Yeah, like I know, like everyone. I tweeted that Tariq gave up a touchdown his first of the year, which he did. That's man to man. Cody's back is to the now. Should Cody have turned around and make the tackle? Maybe, but that's not his guy. They're not playing zone.
Oh yeah,
supposed to be
yeah. If they're man to man and someone run, but no, it's man to man. You guard who's in front of you, don't get beat. If someone else gets beat, that's not your responsibility.
Yeah,
it's that
now
simple.
Should he have turned around and helped a little faster? Yeah, but at the same time, he doesn't know that the ball's been thrown and caught. That's the thing with man to man. You have your back to the defense. To the quarterback. So the awareness there wasn't great towards the end, but that's a touchdown given up by Tariq. So I think Cody was fine today. Like it wasn't like, oh man, this 57 guy, not great. I thought he was fine today. I think that still their best personnel grouping, the dime package is just so good, man. Like I think that's really gonna be a game changer for them, and it maximizes Darrell Taylor too, because if you notice, their early down stuff is mostly Boye. Like they played Bruce, Uchenna, who had a really good game again. Their early down stuff is those other guys, and third down really maximizes Ryan, and it maximizes Darrell. And then Kobe Bryant's in position to make some plays too. So, yeah, I think Cody's fine, but the other packages highlight other guys, and I think that's just as important, if not more important, than how Cody's doing right now.
This is from Cody Marmon at Cody_Marmon. How do you think Uchenna Nwosu's signing has helped elevate Darrell Taylor's game? Or has it?
I don't think those two are connected. I think the thing that's helped Darrell is having Clint, be honest with him after he wasn't playing well early. Like, hey, this is not cool. We expect more of you than what you are giving us. And then just like unlocking him as a pass rusher, which was hard to do when they weren't stopping the run. So they weren't stopping the run, so you can't, unlock Darrell. Like if Darrell right now is just like, all right, DT, it's third down, go kill somebody. Bet. Particularly when he's rushing against right tackles. Because I think he told me last year that because he's right-handed, he likes rushing from that side, I believe. I have to go back and find it. But he says it after the Colts game, I'm pretty sure, week 1 last year. From that side, I think all 3 of his sacks have come from that side, I want to say. I know the Cardinals one did last week, and so did the one today coming against the other team's right tackle. That's what's really unlocking him. The Uchenna stuff is fine. The Bruce signing is probably good, but I think really what's helping him is like, hey man, you're gonna play some early downs too, but like your focus is to go kill somebody when we stop the run. Can you do that? Hell yeah. And then he goes and makes it happen.
This one is from She-Hawk75. How many years in a row is it now that the defense wasn't so good first and then they end up turning around after 4 to 5 weeks? Are they trying new stuff yearly and it never works out and then they revert to what worked before? Why not stick with what has worked from the start?
There's a few things. So in 2019, they traded for Quandre. That obviously was a big change. 2020, they had some injuries early. Like they lost Bruce in week 2, lost Marquise in week 2, lost, who else did they lose? Jordan got hurt in week 3. Jamal got hurt in week 3. They got really banged up early, and it just didn't work. They were playing KJ at defensive end. Like that was really tough. And then when it was, so they weren't they weren't playing super well. Then they couldn't stop the run. Oh, actually, they did stop the run, but couldn't rush the passers, and they had to go get Carlos. It wasn't that they were trying a bunch of new stuff. They just got healthier. I think Shaquille Griffin missed like 4 weeks in that stretch as well in 2020. So that was a personnel thing more than scheme. I want to say having DJ Reed in the lineup helped too. That was personnel. 2021 was more personnel as well. They got rid of Trey Flowers, started playing Ryan Neal more. Ding, ding, ding. Trey Brown got in there. So it's not that they were just. It's something different each time. Really, that's what made it. It's made it tricky. And so I think that's been the big part of it. This year, it's like it was something new this year. All of a sudden this year, they can't stop the run. So then I was like, all right, how do we fix that problem? So then they fixed that problem, and then it helps everything else. So it's not just like, oh, something clicks in week 7. That's not the case. It's been something different, personnel stuff, injury stuff each time. It's not good. That's not making excuses. That's actually terrible. You should not start off bad every year. Pete said it today. He was like, I'm sorry it took so long. Like, it shouldn't, but here we are. It's like that. It's very weird that they've started off poorly so many years in a row. But I think they're slowly flipping the midseason switch. I don't think it's fully flipped yet. It's getting there, but I think that they're on the right path. But yeah, this is like year 4 in a row that they've been bad, and then turned it around. We'll see against the Giants. They can shut down Saquon next week. It's like, oh man, these guys are really bad.
This one's from Holly at Hallberry03. Do you think the defense has officially turned the corner?
So, like I said, I want to see it against Saquon. I do. And just that whole O-line. I think they got banged up a little bit today. The Giants O-line did. I got to check. I just want to see it against them. And I want to see just more punts. I want to see more punts, more quarterback pressures. Like they're doing a good job. Just like you said earlier, start the show. Consistency. Just keep the good defenses are the consistent ones. The good offenses too, actually. But that's it. I just want to see more consistency, more of their the being good up front. Like no matter what personnel grouping you're in, like their nickel stuff. I still want to see that be a little bit better against the run. Like I knew Austin Eckler was going to score on that one play. I was like, oh, look at the front. 4 down, Eckler walks right in. So I want to see that consistency there. But the third down numbers, if those can stay like they are, man, that's gonna convince me. I just want to keep seeing it. And I just want to see more Ryan Neal, man. That dude is a baller, man. Because when the pressure that they're bringing on that package, it's not just him, it's everybody. But when it's dime, I'm like, oh, these guys are about to get off the field. Like that. The more I see it, the more I'll be convinced that they flipped the switch.
This one is from Young Slick X. My dog Trey Brown supposed to be coming back soon. With the defense playing better, is there any chance we see Trey back on the field?
It's tough, man. I want to see Trey Brown back on the field too, but it's not like there's a lot of bad play in the secondary to just make that an obvious situation. Like Mike Jackson is playing solid. Tariq is obviously playing solid. Corner is not the problem, man. I gotta start giving Pete the benefit of the doubt, man, because it's been a few years now in a row that I've just had little faith in the cornerback room, and he just keeps delivering. Like Tariq is that guy. Mike should have had 2 picks today. Like the second one is just bad. Like you gotta catch that. I told him after the game, I was like, bro, you gotta catch it. He's like, yeah, no, that's bad. I gotta catch that. But they're playing well. I went back and watched some of the Falcons game. I was like, man, Mike gave up a deep ball on a weird like double move, but he also like almost picked a deep ball, like almost stole it from Drake London in the end zone. Like he's a really good, and he's good against the run. Teams basically just can't run outside because Mike's gonna lay their running back down. So yeah, I want Trey to play too, but Mike is holding down his spot. Tariq is in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year. There's just not a lot of obvious. Kobe's doing good. Chris, did you see today that Kobe wanted to run back that interception that he had?
I don't even blame him. If I am Quandra, I'm probably blocking for him. Hey, bro, let's get it. I'm not. You know what? We got a nice lead. I get it. See if you can take it back. It'd be 100 3 yards. Go ahead, man. Go ahead and see what it's like to run one back from that distance. You'll never do it again. You'll take a knee next time. You'll be like, damn, that was a long run if I do it. Just take a knee. So
that was funny as hell, man.
get your ass down. What you doing?
Did
you get a chance to talk to any of those guys about it after the game?
I did not get to talk to a chance to talk to either of those guys, man. I couldn't even find Quandre after the game. But yeah, that was really funny. I think the play ended up getting called back anyway because Uchenna was offsides. But
yeah,
it was just funny to see it. Like he was like, "Hey, if you could almost hear Quandre like, "Boy, you don't get your ass down."
Hey, little man, get down.
I'd have been like, "No, man, we go to the apartments. Come on, man, we out of here."
I know. If I was playing, I'm running it back. Quandre gonna have to tackle my ass. Do you remember when it was in the bubble, Lakers in the championship? Rondo was going for a layup. He's supposed to throw it to LeBron, and LeBron went over to fake block it in the game for a lay-in. Do you remember that? Rondo had a tip.
Yeah.
Same attitude. Like, you're gonna have to tackle me, Quandre. I'm trying to score, bro.
Hey, get these stats up, baby.
Come on, man.
We ain't the only rookie balling, man. That was funny, man. But yeah, there's just no room right now, obvious room for Trey. Like Trey's gonna have to earn it. Not to say he won't, but the Seattle secondary is playing really good ball right now.
This one is from Joey at Yoger _. So it's at Yo_GER Yoger. Question for the pod. What are the chances Seahawks lock in defensive rookie of the year in Tariq and then offensive rookie of the year for KW Trey?
So man, I think I gotta find it. I said earlier in the offseason, like if Ken gets a shot, he'll be in the running for rookie of the year. Offensive rookie. I felt that. In part because there's no good quarterbacks in the class. Quarterbacks always have the head start on the rest of the positions, but it's because there's no quarterbacks playing. And now Kenny Pickett is, but based on what I've seen, Kenny ain't about to win. Kenny is not about to win offensive rookie of the year, and unfortunately, Breece Hall looks like he blew his ACL out. That's unfortunate. So you're basically down to probably Garrett Wilson, Damian Pierce in Houston. And then who's the other? I'm missing somebody. Oh, Olave in New Orleans. And then Ken's right there, man. That dude is different. You see them jump cuts he's making?
He reminds me. They said it on the broadcast. Le'Veon Bell. You know
that's what Quentin Jefferson said after the game to me. He was like, he's just like Le'Veon. He's patient.
Yeah, he's
like
not
Le'Veon.
in a rush.
No, and because he said the thing about that is Quentin Jefferson was telling me, he was like, the thing is, you see him, right? Like if you're a D lineman, you see him and you shoot your gap, and then he'll cut. Next thing you know, he's in the other gap, and you're like, well, damn, now I'm out of position. Well, now he's gone. And then if you get to him, you can't always bring him down. So
yeah, you saw that on one of the runs today. He carried a DB or maybe it was a linebacker for 6 yards, and then the old line just pushed him over for the first. His legs just keep churning. He is a strong dude, man.
Yeah, he said before he had to do the podium, he was like, man, I hate interviews. I was like, you better get used to them. Like, you keep running like that, you're going to be on the podium every week.
Yeah, for sure.
He would rather just talk at his locker with no cameras and everything. He's like, I was like, hey, you doing the podium? He was like, yeah. I'm like, what, you don't like the podium? He was like, I just don't like interviews. I was like, well, brother, you about to win NFC Player of the Week. So you get used to them interviews, brother.
Do they give a speech if they win the offensive player rookie of the year? I'm sure they gotta give a nice little speech, right? Not an interview, but gotta go up there and talk, right?
You don't gotta give a speech, but it's like you're gonna have to do a podium thing. I was like, dude, you had 160 yards. You're gonna have to get on the podium. Like you keep running like that, you're gonna have to do it. I can't remember what the question was. Did we answer the question?
We did. The question was, can Tariq Woolen, can he win defensive rookie of the year?
Yes. Tariq. So because Breece Hall is out of the equation now, unfortunately, that's big for the offensive rookie of the year thing because the New York bias is probably going to be pretty heavy. Like if it was between Ken and a New York running back, that would be, kind of tough, especially because the Jets are good. On the flip side of that with Tariq, it'll be really interesting to see how his numbers continue to stack up with Sauce. He's going against a dude named Sauce, for one. Dude named Sauce. Yeah, in the New York market when the Jets are good. I believe the Jets won again today.
Yes.
And I think their defense played well again.
Yes.
Great news for Russell Wilson, boy, because if Brett Rippon would have balled out. Woo! Anyway, So I think it's possible. I think the Saints did it in 2017 with Marshawn Lattimore and Alvin Kamara winning on their respective Rookie of the Year awards. So it's doable. I think it's very possible. I was telling somebody in the locker room after the game, I was like, "You guys could do it. You guys can do it. Ken is that real, and Tariq is just that much of a ball player, man." So sneaky defensive Rookie of the Year option though is Jack Jones of the Patriots. This pod's coming out Monday. Watch that dude. I don't know what number he is, but you'll see Jack Jones of the Patriots. That dude is nice. Watch him. He might give Justin Fields fits on Monday Night Football.
All right. Our next one comes from Zach Gabel. Should the Seahawks look into trading for Brian Burns from the Panthers? Give them more strong pass on the edge. What are your thoughts there, Mike?
No, not if the Panthers want 2 first-round picks. Like, that's the report.
That was easy.
Our Joe Pearson of the Athletic, our Panthers guy, he confirmed the report from Schefter and Rappaport that was like, yeah, they want 2 first-round picks. They've already turned down 2 first-round picks from one team. I don't know who offered that, but yeah, 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns. Brian's a good player, really good player, but I'm not giving that up. Not when you can get contributions from so many other places with your rush package. Like, I think your rush package being Daryl Uchenna and then being able to mix it up with all those blitzers, I think they're fine.
Okay. This one is from Bib Fate. Who should the Seahawks look at available for wide receiver? Maybe trade or signing with Metcalf out for unknown time, or will the receivers on the roster be manageable?
Yeah, I think you should always be looking at that position because I think you can plug and play guys in at some spots pretty easy. There, I know chemistry and all that timing. Yeah, I know, but some dudes are just good. Like, if you can call the Jets and see what they want for Elijah Moore, if DK has to be out for extended period of time in particular, especially since I think he and DK are homies. They overlapped at Ole Miss, I believe. At least to the point that, you know how DK did that fire hydrant thing where he pretends to like piss on a hydrant. He did that in college in their rivalry game.
I remember.
I think there's there's just like the Egg Bowl or something like that. It's like them in Mississippi State. DK did it, got a penalty, and then a couple years later, Elijah did it too. I think it ended up costing the team the game, which is kind of funny. I think their kicker ended up screwing up because it was during a touchdown and it pushed the PAT back or something. Anyway, like, they're cool enough for, it's like, you know, Elijah showing tribute to him in that regard. Yeah, so if Elijah's available, the Steelers for some reason don't want to give up Chase Claypool. I don't understand that. You got Pickens, you got Deontay Johnson, you have your track record as a franchise with drafting receivers, whether it's going from Hines Ward to Emmanuel Sanders to AB to Juju to Claypool to Johnson to Pickens. Like, those dudes they've got the receiver thing down. So if you can get him, call Odell. Always call Odell. Shit, Odell's on tour going across the whole league.
You look like a tight end now.
Yeah, like call him. Again, this is if guys are if DK has to miss any time. Yeah, poke around. I don't really think they should call the Texans for Brandon Cooks. That's probably gonna cost too much. He always gets traded for a first round pick, I feel like. Brandon Cooks been traded like 3 times. So I think those are the guys that you look at. The Broncos probably won't trade to Jerry Jeudy at this point, but if they'll listen, again, this is all DK insurance. But if DK is fine,
you're good.
You roll what you got. But if he has to miss some time, as much as I talked up their pick your poison offense, you can never have too many guys. We were the same 2 dudes who were like, oh, they have DK and Tyler, sign Odell. You know what I mean? This was
had no problem with that.
Yeah, the team with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp signed Odell last year.
And what happened? Made it to the Super Bowl and won.
Yeah, so like that. I think you can never have too many weapons in that regard. So those are the names that jump out to me off top. There may be some more, but I think they should look to AFC teams first because those are the teams more likely to deal with you. And then guys who are on rookie deals, like I think Claypool is, and I think I know Elijah Moore is too. Guys like that are the ideal ones.
This one is from Cade_Ashby. Not to get down after a great win, Seems like our punt returns have been underwhelming. DJ and Tyler have 3 returns for 15 yards, 4 fair catches, and the rest have been waved off or downed. Am I overthinking this, or is there anything they can improve on?
Yeah, I think that they don't have like an obvious answer there. DJ Reed was really good back there because he was really shifty. Like I feel like straightaway speed is important more for kickoffs because you get about 15 yards before anybody is near you before you have to make a cut. You know, whereas when you're the punt guy, you got to make a dude miss within like 2 seconds. You know, so I feel like you need a shiftier dude back there. Whereas DJ's cool, DJ Dallas is cool. Tyler's not like super shifty. He just has really reliable hands for the most part. Somebody made did you see that, Chris? Somebody made a highlight reel of all the times Tyler has caught the ball and then fell down.
That's a smart man.
That's the smartest man in the league, boy.
He's gonna play until he's 40 at wide receiver.
Right. Yeah. No. It was just really funny to see them all clip together. Another guy, I don't know if wide receivers. I'm sorry, I'm going back to the last question because we did a thing at The Athletic where we wrote down, everybody had to name a trade candidate. Amari Rodgers from the Packers at receiver. You could consider him as well. But no, I think that, you know what's funny? The guy who should be back there on punts is Ken Walker. Like, that's realistically, you think about it, he is the shiftiest dude that they have, you know, back there. Like, it should be him or Quandre, but you won't put either of those guys back there.
So, no D?
D's not super shifty. He's fast, straight line, I think.
Yeah, one cut, he's out of there. Hit the hole, homie.
I feel like you got to make multiple on punt. I think you got to dance a little bit more.
If you make the first guy miss, and your punt coverage does their job, you can make one dude miss and hit a hole. AB's done it a million times when he was at Pittsburgh. He made one dude miss, hit a hole.
You're right. AB was generational though, like as a punt returner.
Well, I'm just saying, you mentioned the straight line speed. Of course, he had to have good blocking, but he would literally catch it, make a guy miss, usually the first dude miss, hit that hole, and then it was like, yeah, that's curtains. Don't kick to that guy.
Yeah, I just think you need
it's
like
a tough one. It depends.
Like
to your point.
Like David Moore was kind of good at it too because he had that dead leg. You know, like it was a cut. Like Mike Davis has the dead leg, where you like it's like almost like the sham god in basketball. Like that, you need that. I think the best person for it is Ken. So yeah, we might have to live with just not a dynamic punt returner group right now.
This one is from Hawks fan 206. What was your favorite defensive play of the game on Sunday? And what was our favorite offensive play from the game on Sunday?
Both of us?
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Yes. My offensive play, favorite one, was Marquise Goodwin's first touchdown. Beautiful ball from Geno and just an amazing route. The way Marquise sold it, man, that was really impressive. Really was. You were thinking he's doing something else, and then he just shaves it off the top, fade route. Geno, just another good ball. All he has to do is turn around and catch it. Got his feet in. That was really cool to see, especially because I didn't expect it. Third down, I'm thinking, they're probably going to maybe throw it short of the sticks. I didn't expect him to go for a touchdown, and it was executed perfectly. That is my favorite offensive play. Go ahead, Mike.
So I think my favorite offensive play today, that's tough. There was some good ones today. I would probably go. It's crazy. Geno's best throw today. This is gonna be a weird one. I think Geno's best throw today was the one that Noah Fant dropped. Like I don't know.
Two defenders.
Dog, that ball, he throws that with anticipation over the middle, under pressure, I think, and it hits Noah in the hands. Like I remember saying that in the press box, like Noah's got to catch that, and I think it was somebody who was sitting to my left. I think it was Matt Calkins of the Seattle Times. He was like, hold on. I thought they were coming for the housekeeping. I think it was Matt. He's sitting next to me. He was like, nah, that's a tough ball. Guy got in there. And then they showed the replay. He was like, no. You're right? They hit him in the hands. And I was like, yes, I could see that in real time. That was a ball. It's a great ball today. No, Geno made some questionable ones today, like that one Asante Samuel almost picked off. The diving
on the out route, across the body. Well, not across the body,
opposite
but
hash.
yeah, that's tough.
That's a dang. You need a laser to
You
get
better
that.
throw like Cam Newton,
Yeah, you need a gun to get that in
Mike
there. But
Vick,
yeah,
Cam Newton.
that was probably one of Geno's better throws. That was just a great throw with anticipation. So what you got on defense?
So defense, I gotta go with that first 4th down stuff. They go for it on 4th and inches, and Al Woods and gang just stuff it, because that ignited, I think, what just led to a beatdown, just defensively and offensively. I like that was huge, because if they don't get that, Chargers probably go down and score 7-0. You're thinking, oh damn, here we go, a good offense. Seahawks are in trouble, and then Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are back. Oh boy, it might be a long afternoon on Sunday. But Al Woods doing what he does best all season long, holding down the fort, holding down the middle in those gaps. He did it again. The rest of the players rally, turnover on downs. I think that was the big play.
Yeah, I think mine on defense will probably be, this is tough. I think it'll be, if you remember, Chris, Herbert is almost sacked. It's 3rd and 10. He's almost sacked by he's almost sacked by he's almost sacked by Uchenna. Let me see if I can.
He grabs him over the head and should have been a face mask, but they missed it.
Oh, that should have been a face mask?
Oh yeah, he yanked the hell out of his face mask.
Oh dang.
It don't matter.
Let me see if I can.
The refs were questionable today. They weren't the best, but it is what it is.
So the one I want to show here is let me put it in here. It's 3rd and 10, and this was just really good coverage. It's 3rd and 10, and I think it ends up being a no gain play. But if you look at like our YouTube audience can see it, like, oh yeah, that is a face mask. But the coverage was so good, like the rush and coverage work so well together, and it's just like that is what I wanted to see from these guys. Like I want to see the rush and coverage consistently work well together. Like I know that angle I just showed you all 22, but like we didn't schedule any conflicts. We didn't get a chance to do our plays of the week from the Cardinals game. The one I was going to use from last week was going to be it was Uchenna's sack. And if you look at Uchenna's sack, it was Kyler's first read is open. It was going to be Zach Ertz, but Jordan Brooks just felt Ertz right next to him and slid over. That gave Uchenna just enough time. And it's like, that's it. That's rush and coverage working together. And there was an example against the Falcons where they didn't do that. Cody Barton doesn't feel the tight end right behind him, and it ends up being like a 23-yard gain. All Cody had to do was feel him, slide into the window, and it would have been a sack. Like those are, we're asking, what changed on defense? It's just little things. It ain't even nothing huge. It's just playing a little bit better ball. I have been asking for weeks, who's gonna play better? How much better can you reasonably ask them to play, and when's that gonna start? And I think the coverage on the 3rd and 10 on that particular one. That ended up being an Eckler play for no gain, and then the coverage on Uchenna's sack. Those are the plays. Those are the plays that's winning football. It ain't a splash play. Well, the sack is kind of a splash play, but you know what I mean. Like that. Yeah. That's the change that you want to see in the defense.
This one is from Who Is Kuntz. How would you rank this draft class and the Pete Carroll, John Schneider tenure?
Ooh, that's fun. I still think. Like as high as I am on the draft class, 2012 is just, come on. That's just, there's 2 Hall of Famers in it. There's 2 Hall of Famers in it. I just can't get by that. In 2010, it's got Golden, Cam. This is like I think I said before. This one, 2022 has a chance to be like 2010, which had 1 Hall of Famer in it, which is Earl, and then just a bunch of really solid players with Cam. Who's a Hall of Fame finalist, and then Golden, Russell Okung is the other big one in that. 2011 had 1 Hall of Famer in it, and then the Ring of Honor guy. So I think this one has the potential for, what would you say, probably 3 Ring of Honor guys?
It's early. Maybe? It's early. I'm enjoying the moment. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to put I don't want to put these guys in expectation roles to be Ring of Honor. I just want to enjoy and see what they do for their first year. Right now, these dudes look really good. Pete and John, they hit money. I love what I'm seeing. Let's just see how the season ends, and then we can take it from there. I don't want to throw too much out there because then certain things happen. We all know it's a tough game. I just want to enjoy the moment right now, and that's what I'm going to do. Enjoy watching what the Seahawks have done with this 2022 draft class because they killed on the O-line. Yeah, Tariq Woolen, God, I wasn't even supposed to be starting. Everyone's like, he's raw. He ain't starting. Boys out there starting and ain't giving up nothing except for the touchdown on Sunday on a little crossing route, which was just a great scheme by the Chargers. Send dudes crossing, make it tough. They know you're going to play man in that tight area. Smart play by them, but outside of that, I'm not going to put any expectations on these dudes. But to answer the question, it's good. It's up there. As you said, it's up there for sure.
I think I'll put these expectations on them for sure. Because I think I feel you. I'm just willing to do it. I think with what I see from Tariq, man, that's there's nothing. There's no ceiling on that. There's none. Just because we ain't never seen that before. We've never seen that length, those ball skills, that speed. Yeah, nah. That dude can be him. And I think the other Ring of Honor candidates would be Abe and Charles. I think just guys who can just be really consistent for a long time. I think those are the two candidates for me.
Did you play Madden 2006 at all, Mike? Do you remember that game?
Is that the one with Sean Alexander on the front?
Madden 06, that was Donovan McNabb on the front.
Oh, no, I ain't played that one that much.
Well, they had a superstar mode, and so in the superstar mode, you do everything. So you create your player, you choose your parents. So you could have your, for example, Mike, maybe your mom ran track, your dad played college football, so you probably have some speed. If Tariq was created in Madden Superstar mode, he probably had, 2 track parents, both competed, 100-meter dash, because that dude is a freak of nature, man. As you mentioned, his length and speed, combine all of that, and as you said, you ain't never seen nothing like that. You're pretty much making a new version of Deion Sanders, but taller, if you think about it.
Yeah, but he's got like Percy Harvin bastard speed. No, it's really crazy. It's like Giannis in the NBA. It's like we just ain't seen that. We've just never seen it. So there's no ceiling on what it could be. It's very similar to that French kid that's supposed to be like the first pick in next year's NBA draft. He's just as big as Giannis and he can dribble. Like, come on. Like, what do you do with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm super high on Tariq's ceiling. I've always been high on the ceiling. He just hit his floors are higher than I thought now, but his ceiling is crazy.
This one is from Sam Demko. Our thoughts of a playoff berth plus a top 5 pick from the Broncos starting to pop into the head?
Yo, shout out to Sam. We went to high school together, man. Sam also recently beat cancer.
Congratulations. That's dope.
How long ago? But he did, man. Shout out to Sam, man. I see you, big dog. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a top 5 pick from Denver, but I do think this was always a scenario that I considered best case for the Seahawks. It wasn't that tanking bullshit. People kept talking about, nah, Mike, let's just lose. Build for next year, young guys. Chris, me and you were always saying that's ridiculous. Losing is bad.
You don't want that.
There's no scenario where losing is good.
We don't do a show.
Right. When you have another team's first round pick, your best case is you win and they lose. That was always the case. It's always the case. The Eagles are in a similar scenario. I think they have the Saints first round pick. Same thing for the Texans right now. The Texans have all of the Browns picks forever. You root for your team to win and the team whose first round pick you hold to lose. Always the best case. I don't think it'll be a top 5 pick, but that is what you want. And I think what that really does, to answer Sam's question, is it allows you not to have to take, in that scenario where your pick is like 27 or something, anywhere from 23 to 27, and the Broncos pick is anywhere from 5 to 11. In that scenario, you don't have to take a quarterback with your first pick. You know what I mean? Like if you end up, losing in the second round of the playoffs, that means Geno played well enough so that you could at least start 2023 with him, and you can maybe take a rookie in the second round or something like that. That's the best version of that, to answer Sam's question, is that because in the other way around, if Denver's pick is like 26 and your pick is like 8, you probably need to take CJ Stroud or Will Levis or whoever the hell. You got to take Bryce Young if he's there, which he won't be. Like, you have to do that. Like, to Sam's question, if you're picking in the 20s and Denver's picking in the top 10 and you got their pick, that's great. That means you can roll with Geno for at least another year. You don't got to rely on a rookie in 2023, and you can draft something else, maybe another edge rusher, another linebacker, maybe. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head, but you know what I mean? Like, you can just do something else with that top 10 pick, which is great. You don't have to take a quarterback.
This one is from Who is Kuntz. With the retooling of the team looking like it's going upward, what position should the Seahawks look for in the draft, assuming they have a high pick due to Denver? What position, Mike?
Just got put on the spot. I still don't think you can never have enough corners. I also don't. I think the line is playing well, but I do think you could upgrade the interior. Like Phil Haynes is fine. I think he's in a contract year. Gabe Jackson, you're probably gonna want to do something with that contract after the year. That's a tricky one. I think Austin Blythe is only on a 1 year, maybe. And then D. Lou, you got to figure out what to do there. I feel like if there's a stud like interior guy, you can afford that pick. You can never have too many edge rushers, because at that point you'll be going into the final year of Uchenna's deal, and you'll be going into Darrell Taylor's contract year as well. So probably edge. Actually, I think I just talked myself into edge. Honestly, just kind of just thinking about that. Take the best edge rusher you can, probably with that top 10 pick if Denver has a top 10. And granted, I'm not guaranteeing Denver's just gonna stink. I still believe in Russ, but as Chris likes to note, a bad hammy is the last injury you want to have. Like,
it really is.
I feel bad for Russ, man. That's gonna hurt all year. All year.
Unless you get surgery.
Yeah, I think edge is probably where you go with Denver's pick early in the draft.
Yeah, I know Drake has that line. I'm like a sprained ankle. I ain't nothing to play with. Drake, if you're listening, watching the Seahawks Man to Man podcast, you need to go back in and change that lyric to a bad hamstring. Boy, I ain't nothing to play with, because, man, from experience, you can't play on that. The next one comes from Tony K at Karate K 84. Gotta admit, like many out there, thought the Seahawks should have kept Russell Pete. In fact, last podcast, you went through teams and said these teams weren't good, and including the Seahawks. If the Seahawks beat the Giants and they make it consistent enough for them to be considered good yet.
Yeah, they beat the Giants. I mean, they still have a negative point differential, I think. And people who listen to this show know I'm a big point differential guy, for reasons that I've explained.
Man, they had a rough few weeks, man. It's gonna be tough to make that up.
Well, I think it's only like, what is it? Yeah, it's they're the best team with a negative point differential. They are at -3. So it's, if they beat the Giants by 3, they break even. So you'll be right at 0, which is where the Bucks are right now. Holy hell, the Jags are a +18. What? They must have kicked someone's ass earlier in the year. That doesn't make sense at all. Anyway, I think you need a positive point differential to me to definitively say you were good. That is the short answer to that question. So I think they're right on the borderline. They are not a team to be messed with, meaning that they can hang with anybody on any given week, which is kind of how Pete Carroll teams rock anyway. But I think I want them to be in the positive point differential lane, and they're getting there. They're almost there. Once they get there, they'll be fine. I'm looking at the the Jaguars beat the Colts 24-0 and then beat the Chargers 38-10. So that's what it is. They have a 24-point win and a 28-point win. Those are their only 2 wins. It's like, how the hell they get that? So yeah, just getting the positive there, and then I'll feel a little bit better about it. So like, if they only beat the Giants by like 1, like, we'll see. Just get in the positive there, and then we'll talk.
This one is from Jimmy at Jimmy_Lee1. With the Seahawks playing well, you guys think there's a chance one of their games gets flexed later in the year? Chiefs, Jets?
The Chiefs one is tricky because I think it's on a Saturday, which is Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, that's right, yeah.
And there are 3 games on Sunday on Christmas Day. I do not know what they all are off the top of my head, but I think that makes flexing a little bit tricky. I think it's still doable, but moving the day of the game is hard. You can always change the time of a game. Moving the day of a game is where you get complicated. So the Chiefs one, probably not. Jets is potential, but I'd have to look at what day what the other Sunday games are. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into the flexing. But yeah, it's a possibility. It won't be the Carolina game, that's for sure. The Rams game is on a Sunday. The December one down here in LA. So that's a possibility, I would imagine, as well. Yeah, the Seahawks are good TV, for the most part. Like, they don't have a ton of stinkers, for the most part. The Niners game was a stinker. Other than that, I've been entertained. Like, if I was an objective observer, they're entertaining. The Saints game was great. The Lions game was great. The Denver game was great. The Falcons game was entertaining. Cardinals game was all right. So, yeah, I think that's possible. The Chiefs one will be the best one, but because it's on Christmas Eve on a Saturday when they have a ton of other games on Christmas, I think that makes that tough, which sucks because that as a primetime holiday game, Chiefs Seahawks would be great.
Money. This last one comes from Shiv Ramdas.
Yo,
should I book my Super Bowl tickets yet or wait another week?
I think somebody else asked about that too. Buy Super Bowl tickets. Sure, always buy the tickets. I think I told somebody that last year. You can just flip them later. You can just flip them. Let's say you buy the tickets now, and if the Super Bowl ends up being like Eagles Bills, you go find some deranged Eagles fan. They'll pay an arm and a leg, for those. Where's the Super Bowl at this year?
I think it's in
Arizona. I think it's Arizona. It ain't Cleveland. No, it's Arizona. I think it's in Arizona this year. Ooh, that would be fun if the Seahawks made that in Arizona. It's like,
yeah, it's in Arizona.
Russ. Yeah. Yeah. Always buy them and flip them. Yeah, I always do that. I will say though, there was I know I hint at this in my story. It was not him. It was a different player. It wasn't DJ Dallas. It was a different player who was like, he was looking at me like, nah, Mike, we can do this. He was like, look at us. Look at what we can do when we run that ball. We play this defense. We really, in their minds, like, they really only got their ass kicked by the Niners. Like, that game is like a legit, like, nah, they smoked us. Everybody else, they's like, man, we beat ourselves, like, for various reasons, whatever it was. Like, that's what they think. So this is a team that really thinks it can get there, man. So I got my skepticisms, obviously, but for now, they're just a team that you just don't want to play the Seahawks because they're gonna give you a fight.
Yeah.
And that's the worst. The Giants are like that too. The Giants are they give you a fight. The Seahawks are that team now. Like, yeah, you might beat me up. I'm gonna beat you up too. Like, what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gonna kick my ass. So yeah, go ahead, buy them tickets. Buy me one too. Buy Chris one too. We do the podcast on Radio Row in Arizona. Yeah, let's go down.
Shoot, hopefully the company takes care of that for us, man. We should be good if they make it.
Nah. If Shiv's gonna buy them, buy the tickets for us, baby. Come on, man. Seahawks man family. Hook us up, man. Make sure I get a plane ticket too. Make sure I get a window seat. That's all. Actually, I get the plane ticket. Just get me the just give me the Super Bowl ticket. Yeah, just get me in the game. Because it's gonna be like $3,000. So yeah, give me in the game. I don't even care where I'm sitting.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm gonna let you know right now. You buy me tickets, I gotta be able to see the player's name on the back. I don't want to be like
squinting. You don't want to squint. Yeah, I hear you.
Who is that?
Shiv got us though. Go ahead, buy them tickets, baby.
We waiting. I'll send you. I'll DM you my address, man.
All I need is my email, baby. Forward them to me. I want Ticketmaster. We good.
All right. Well, then, ladies and gentlemen, that has been another episode of Seahawks Man to Man podcast after the Seahawks handle the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers 37-23. I caught you there. Caught myself. We'll come back later in the week with a Giants, Seahawks and Giants. The Giants they only lost one game. So if I'm not mistaken, that makes them 5-1. I think they had a bye week already, but 6-1. Excuse me, 6-1.
Yep.
Wow, that should be another fun game. They have the run game going. So we'll figure out if the Seahawks D-line can step up to the plate and slow down Saquon. This is again another episode. We appreciate all the love and support. Mike, is there anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just want to keep echo the love and support, man. We can't do the pod without you guys tapping in. We're going to use our YouTube a little bit more. Like I said, we're going to try to bring back every week, try to talk about our favorite plays, use the all 22, the film of them, just kind of utilize giving you something visual to see other than our pretty faces as well. So keep tuning in, keep sending us questions. We really appreciate that, man. That's why we dedicate most of the show to questions, because we just love the stuff you guys get us thinking about every week. So thank you. Keep doing that. Like Chris said, we'll catch you guys later in the week with the homie Dan to talk about the Giants game. Until then, we're out.